people. Welcome or welcome back to the All Things All American podcast. Boy, did we have a week. So much has happened since the last episode, from the girlies on Twitter fighting over Layla being pregnant. I don't know why that happened, but it happened, and you will hear my opinion on that when we talk about Layla. We also had the live Q&A with the cast on Instagram, which I unfortunately missed. Yeah, you know what they say, we make plans and God laughs. So I planned on recording this episode after the live Q&A happened, to see if there was anything I could add to the characters and their analysis and all of that. But yeah, I had quite the night on Tuesday. I had 2 back-to-back tutoring sessions, and dealing with academics just always stresses me out. So I had a tension headache, and staying up wasn't an option. So I thought, why can't I wait a bit and join the live and just leave my iPad on and screen recording? But I didn't check if I had enough storage to do that. So you know where this is going. But I put a post up on Twitter to see if anyone screen recorded the live or has any Cliff's notes about it. And I will update you all if I get anything. If not, we'll just have to live. I mean, what else can we do? Yeah, so last week I questioned how they were going to write Asha off, because he got a new job at Beverly in 612. And it's important to note the time periods between 612 and 701. So 612 and 615 were 15 months apart. And then we had the summer break. And now 701 is a month after 615. So Asha was at Beverly for a year and then moved to New York over the summer with Coach Mrs. Montes, who followed her husband in New York. Remember, Coach Mr. Montes was coaching in the NFL. He is Spencer's coach, so he's obviously based in New York now. Assuming Coach Mrs. Montes got tired of a long distance marriage, so she moved and she took her assistant Asha with. Now, the Montes family love Asha, including Vanessa. Remember Vanessa? Yeah, so every person in the Montes family just loves Asha, and they really, really want the best for him. So it's not surprising that either one of these coaches took him with them when they got new jobs. Yeah. So obviously with Asha moving to New York, Jamie and AJ moved with him. No one really wants to do a long distance marriage, let's be for real. So that's that. I really hope to see Asha again this season. We haven't gotten any news on that. And that's it. Speaking of seeing people again, next episode we have Miss Olivia Baker coming back, and that's exciting. It's always nice to see Liv. Yeah. It's always nice to see Liv. Also, we got some photos, behind the scenes photos about some episode they were filming recently, where we have Daniel and Da Vinci on set. So, I mean, it's not news that Spencer would be showing up at some point in the season, but Darnell is coming back too, and it's always nice to see Darnell. I don't know how his character is significant to the current cast, because Daniel was Spencer's person. He only ever came back if Spencer needed something. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he has to offer. He's a QB, so I see him with KJ and Coach Jordan. working together, advice or whatever. Since Daniel's in the NFL, is it? Now, just to make this clear, this is my stance on people speaking on the success of the characters. Now, being successful isn't only if you make it to the NFL. Let's just put it there. Yeah, making it to the NFL was a dream for some of these people, and they made it the dream, and yeah, it worked out. Some people got injured and they had to pivot, and they have to find their new niche, their new version of being successful. So to say only the people that made it to the NFL are successful is, I don't know, just doesn't sit well with me, and that's my opinion. Let's just put it out there that I'm chronically online, so if I see something that I want to talk about, please don't get offended. This is just my opinion. It probably played on my mind quite a bit, and I needed to write it down somewhere, put it out somewhere. And yeah, this is basically my thoughts out loud. So it's a bit jumbled and I lose my train of thought a lot. But yeah, welcome to a very interesting ride, I guess. Okay, so let's get into 701. We will start with the new gen. We'll go to the proper adults and then finish off with Jordan and Layla, then the trailer. Because I talk too much and I'm a sucker for love. So, yeah. Any couples that come in, any love stories, you'll be hearing an extended section of that. Once I figure out how to put timestamps, we will get those. But yeah, for now, let's just vibe and have fun. I don't have my laptop with me, so this is very, very hard. Yeah. So let's get into KJ. KJ, my little baby. I don't know if he's the youngest of the new gen, but to me, he's my little baby. I just want to shake. I just want to shake him sometimes because KJ, why are you going around telling everyone your business, sir? You don't know these people, hey? Yeah. So KJ, he has this childlike aura to him, which hence me calling him my little baby. Like KJ, he's so naive. Like it's very evident that life hasn't happened to KJ, which is not a bad thing. Not everyone has to go through trauma to just exist. But I'm really scared. I don't know what the writers are going to do to him. They're going to have to traumatize him a bit. It's AA tradition. No one wasn't scared here. So, yeah, he's very naive. He's also very, very respectful. I don't want to sound like that, but I'm going to say it. KJ has two black parents. When you grow up in a household with a black parent, you know the black parent look. You know the look. Remember when him and his dad finished training and he's talking to both his parents about how he bonded with Yasi at football camp and all of that, and he throws in a curse word there. They didn't have to say anything. The look was enough. The look was enough, and he just automatically corrected. So, yeah, we quickly established that he comes from a loving home, a very structured home at that, because of how he carries himself. He is very, very respectful. And his relationship with his parents is outstanding. It's amazing. So yeah, he. Why I say he has a childlike aura is from what we've been given. KJ has never had to face anything on his own. His dad's his coach. So he's always had that I don't say a crutch, but he's always had that parental support really, really close by. He has both parents at home, and then he has a parent with him at school as well. So he's never really had to be alone. And that was something he was stressing over. That was what he was trying to tell Yasi about, having to adjust to not having his dad around as often, as accessible as he would like, because his dad was taking a break from coaching, whatever that means. And yeah, Yasi just didn't care. He didn't care. And with KJ being so naive, he didn't hover over that. You know how children are. You can be so mean to a baby and they'll come back. Like, they be nice to you. They'll still be open to interacting with you. That's what KJ gives me. Like, in his whole interaction with Yasi, I feel Yasi was very passive aggressive with KJ, you know? We'll get a bit more into that when we discuss Yasi, but I don't think KJ really picked up on that, or he just didn't care, or it's the child presence in him overshadowing everything, where if an adult is being passive aggressive to a child, it's very, very rare that the child will pick up on it. So this is the vibe I'm getting from KJ. So like I said before, life hasn't happened to him yet. And yeah, so for a bit it's going to be like that. And that's going to be a challenge you have to navigate quite. Yeah. So back to his conversations with everyone he meets in LA, including Yasi and Amina. He's very, very open. Like, he doesn't have I don't say self-control because that's not the word for it, but he didn't gauge the situation to see if it would be appropriate to tell these people everything that's going on at home. Like, these are people you just met. You don't know what they're going to do with this information, who they're going to tell, how they would use it against you if you fell out or any of that. But yeah, I'm glad he didn't go into depth with Yasi, and it was Amina, because Amina has it in her to be that malicious, to turn against him and use all this information she gathered from him against him. I see them being really, really good friends first before venturing into a relationship, if they ever get to that point. But we know KJ is really, really feeling. If you saw the way he looked at her at the beach, how he was blushing every time Amina spoke to him, like, he's feeling her. But he is aware of Khalil, and not really, he's not aware of Khalil, but he knows Amina is interested in somebody else. So now, KJ, I love you. You're my baby. You are very naive, and there's only so much I can pass off as you being naive. You know damn well this girl is interested in somebody else. So if you start chasing after her, you are getting whacked over here. Of course, why are you willingly putting yourself into a so yes. Now back to KJ and Yasi. Okay. I will touch a lot on him being naive, because there are certain things you just don't ask about out in the open, you know? Him asking Yazi if he had any gang affiliations or any of that, I feel was inappropriate, because, how do I put it? Sometimes are involved in illegal action, you know it's wrong. It's not something you go about broadcasting. Yazi and KJ only knew each other for 2 weeks. Let's just establish that. So it's not like Yasi would be out there telling KJ his business the way KJ tells his business. You know, they have that difference that's highlighted there. And obviously Yasi not really was offended, but like he was taken aback because who does that? But they quickly move on from it. KJ doesn't take offense to Yazi being kind of rude about it in his response. And yeah, so KJ, they're going to have to fix that. Something's going to happen that makes him grow a bit, you know? He has to grow. He has to grow, he has to mature quite a bit. Yeah. Then, after all of that, we have him playing at the beach, okay, with these people who are Yasis. At the time, at the start of the episode, Yasi was his only friend in LA, okay. Yasi goes to Crenshaw. The Crenshaw kids were at the beach with Amina and Macy and all of those guys. So obviously, all the guys he was with at the beach are his friends by association through Yasi. And yeah, that's essentially why he was on the beach. He was invited there, okay? But Jordan comes in and pulls Yazi out. And in this moment, we establish that Jordan has quite the fan in KJ. Now, before we continue with KJ, let's just sidetrack a bit before I lose my train of thought. It's nice to hear Jordan being spoken about in this positive light. Um, I've always been a believer that Jordan is a good football player. He is talented. I mean, having a parent that paved the way for him made things easier, but being a Nepo baby will only get you so far. You know, your talent has to speak for yourself. He did had moments where he didn't believe in himself, where he didn't think he wanted the dream for himself, apart from having a relationship with his father. But I'm glad that he has, come into his own and is being recognized for his work and actually being a good player on the field. So big up to you, Jordan. And I loved how Jordan offered to be a listening ear for KJ. I can't wait to see where they go with their relationship, especially since they're both QBs. And with Jordan being so young, I feel like it's going to be easy for KJ to speak to him and to open up, which is exactly what Jordan is trying to do with his actual players. So that would be really, really fun to see. I also see that being a point of contention between Jordan and KJ's because, I mean, no person wants to have their son confide in somebody else, especially since the show has already established that KJ and his parents have a very nice, respectful, loving relationship between themselves. Yeah. But you see how KJ took it in stride. Like, it's always nice to voice your thoughts out loud to somebody to get feedback from them. And with him being so naive and childlike, he is going to adjust really, really well because kids are very, very resilient. He has a nice, supportive family. So I don't know how soon the separation is going to affect him, but I see it coming. But he will have people around. He'll have Jordan, he'll have his dad. I'm sure he's going to make new friends. He'll have Amina because of how comfortable he felt with Amina. Whether they don't explore that romantically, I truly hope they develop a healthy friendship between KJ and Amina because they'll both need it. Um, yeah. Then lastly, we have KJ fighting with Khalil. Now, I said before that KJ is very respectful, but he has a bit of anger management, I don't say it's a problem, but there are hints of it coming down. He reminds me a bit of Jordan. Okay, Jordan is very unserious, but provoke him far enough, and he's quick to fight. I see that with KJ. His argument with his parents about moving to LA so abruptly, because they were together the whole day, and then all of a sudden it's no, things aren't okay at home. Your dad's moving here, you're moving. Ma'am, I just got into a fight with somebody else. I'm not welcome here. I want to go home, and you've been hiding this from me this whole time. Um, yeah. So obviously, it's not something his parents woke up one day and decided, no, this isn't working. It's obviously been brewing for a while, and comes back to this him being naive, life not happening to him yet. He's very, very sheltered. So they've been all this time he's been under the impression that his parents are happy in their marriage, only to discover that nothing's been happening the way he thinks it's been happening. They're having problems in their marriage and he didn't know. Yeah, that's going to do something with him. Anyways, so his outburst with his parents after finding out was valid, but with the respectful relationship they have with each other, I'm glad they give each other grace to express themselves. They allow him to feel his emotions. Any other parent would have put the "excuse me, who do you think you're talking to" line, but with his parents, they're like, okay, calm down, let's talk about it. They gave him space, they allowed him to think about it and to come back. And yeah, it just shows how well adjusted he's going to be. He's not going to struggle as much as I think he will. There will be some tension on the team because obviously it's never um easy to join a team that's already been close and all of that. It's highly probable that everyone on the Beverly team has been together since grade school, since they were little. Yeah, so he's joining a system that's already been happening, that's already established, and I see a lot of drama coming from there. And yeah, so back to his fight with KJ. So every encounter KJ and Khalil had this episode wasn't pleasant, them bumping into each other on the hallway and then Amina kissing him and then getting approached by Khalil. It really wasn't his day, hey? So yeah, I've seen people talking about how is he a football player and can't fight. If you have a gun put up on you, you are running the other direction. Like, yeah. So I see them getting close because yeah, they're not going to be rivals forever. Maybe on the field, but off the field, they'll find common ground. I truly see it. KJ is interested in Amina. Khalil, at the moment, claims he's just overprotective over Amina because Dion asked, but I see some feelings over there. So yeah, these two boys aren't just fighting for their places on the field, they're also fighting for their places in Amina's life, which, I'm a sucker for love. I love all things drama, so bring it on. And yeah, I have spoken so much about KJ. I'm so sorry. This episode is going to be long. Yeah. So next, let's move to Khalil. So Khalil didn't have that big of a storyline because we were introduced to him in 611. Back then he was playing around with the possibility of being in a gang. He got in trouble with Preach a couple of times of being on the phone. He's troubled. Let's just say that he has a few problems at home, but I just feel like it's due to the lack of structure. He is very, very smart, and in most cases, no, this is my opinion, okay? I've never spoken to anyone in a gang. I don't know how that works, but in my opinion, I feel like if somebody is smart and people know that you are smart, you would be an asset to them, especially in dealing in the drug business. They'll always want somebody like that. So I can see people who are heavily invested in the drug business wanting to pull him in that direction. And we have people like Preach, his guidance counselor, and soon Jordan trying to straighten that out. Now, Khalil is very, very smart, but his attendance is low. Okay? This just shows that there's no structure in his home, because if you miss so many days to the point where you have to repeat a grade, I'm sure some notifications, some letters were sent home. Of the school must have called his parents, because why wouldn't they? Why is your kid skipping class so much? So if it got to the point where he has to skip a grade, then his something at home is not right. There's no proper structure in the home, which influences how he behaves, because he thinks he can get away with whatever he wants to do. Now, we have learned that his dad is in the drug business. He's very, very heavily affiliated in that. And Khalil is protected, He has those guys who didn't really say much in the episode following him around, pulling a gun in his defense. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, hierarchy, if your dad is a prominent figure or under his protection. You get what I mean? So that's something we are seeing. He would have to break away from that. I can also see why there's a lack of structure in the home, because most parents want their kids to follow in their footsteps. Okay, so I don't see why this would be any different. Why Khalil's dad wouldn't want him to be in the business. I mean, everyone loves their kids, but if a parent wants you to go their way and they have that much influence on you, it shows in how you conduct yourself, who you surround yourself with. So Khalil being around drug dealers isn't really a shock, It's not something his dad is pushing him away from. So I want to see more of that. I see Jordan getting in trouble with Khalil's parents about trying to, straighten him up. And I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. I don't know. Jordan, just keep harm away from your wife. That's all I'm going to say. Don't go looking into other people's business. Yeah. So now, back to Khalil being troubled. Why does this guy decide to pick a fight with KJ? Okay? He was arguing with Amina. Amina is the one who kissed KJ. Why, Khalil, do you feel the need to fight KJ over a decision Amina made? He wasn't part of it. So I'm sure to him, to Khalil, KJ and Amina have had some contact. They've they know each other in some way on a deeper level, because why is Amina feeling that comfortable with kissing him? Like, we know that they met that day, but I mean, you see somebody, kissing somebody else, like, I feel it's out of character for Amina to do something. But Khalil shouldn't have done what he did. He needs to apologize to KJ for fighting him. That was wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong on so many levels. Then Khalil calling calling Amina his sister, or like needing to protect her like a sister. So mm-mm, mm-mm. The writers will have to do a lot of convincing to get me on board with the Khalil Amina ship. It will be hard to get past the sibling stage. It's giving me Spencer and Olivia flashbacks, where Spencer in season 1 would say Olivia's like a sister to me. It took me a while to get past that, I'm not going to lie. I like them now, but getting past that was quite the issue. It's also giving me Olivia Pope and Jake Ballard flashbacks. When Jake got a new fiance and he's telling her how Olivia is like the sister he never had, when he's at Olivia's beck and call whenever she needs somebody in her bed. Like, ugh, nasty. We don't do incest over here. So that's that on KJ. He, like I said, he needs to apologize to. Sorry, that's on Khalil. Khalil needs to apologize to KJ because it was out of his control. But then now he's getting to know Amina like on a personal level. So, still Khalil doesn't have the right to fight him because of Amina's choices. Alrighty, so now let's move to the baby girls. Okay. Last week I made a mistake. I thought Macy was Tori. These people look so much alike. Don't tell me you can't see it. Macy and Tori look a bit similar. So it's going to get a bit of getting used to until I see Tori in motion on screen. Yeah, I will get these people a bit confused. I know their names, so just give me some grace, hey? So now Macy, like KJ, is very young. Like, they're teenage. They're not in any rush to grow up. Okay, they're still just focused on the now. They're checking girls out, checking boys out, and that's what it should be. Why are you rushing to be grown, Amina? Side eye. So yeah, Macy's just very carefree. She is making teenage decisions, dumb decisions. Teenagers, they would want to smoke, they want to drink. So at the beach, she's the one that's drinking. Amina doesn't drink. If you look very, very closely at the beach scene, the one in the night before Amina approaches Khalil, Amina grabs the cup of alcohol from Macy's hand. So just to put it out there, Amina doesn't drink, which is why Khalil asked, when did you start drinking? So Macy she's being a teenager, a dumb teenager, making dumb decisions, and going to be the one trying to keep Amina close to her youngness, her teenage years. That little reminder that you have all the time in the world to accomplish what you want. Just live in the moment, So I hope you see more of her. She's a breath of fresh air. It's nice. It's nice to see her. Yeah. So we didn't get much on Macy. We didn't get much of the backstory on her, apart from the fact that she is Amina's friend. She goes to South Crenshaw. And yeah, so let's go to Amina. Okay, so this whole episode was Amina trying to prove to everyone that she's growing up. Like, baby girl, you're young, you're 60. You're 60. What was I doing when I was 60? I was a baby. I used to think I'm a baby when I'm 21. So, yeah, 16 is really, really young. And this whole storyline of Amina trying to grow up so fast is the perfect contrast to Coop and Layla trying to not grow up so fast, you know? They are running away from the adult responsibility while Amina is running towards that. So it makes sense why Coop would be like, girl, what's the rush? Like, Coop was also trying to be grown at some point when she was dealing with Sean and what was his name, Tyrone, and all of that. So she knows firsthand what rushing to being an adult does to you. The trauma it leaves you with, because remember Coop ended up getting shot. Sorry, Amina, calm down. Please calm down. Um, yeah, but then I don't blame her because teenagers, they want their space, and at times adults don't seem to understand that, because the adults, the teenagers are still kids, but the teenagers don't see themselves as kids. They are in between their childhood and adulthood, like they're transitioning, and they want to have that respect. But what most teenagers don't understand is respect is earned, it's not just given. So you have to prove that you can be responsible, that you can be trusted, which is why Preach is leaving Coop with her as a babysitter. You know, she hasn't taken those strides to show, to prove that she can be responsible on her own. You know, I don't think we've gotten any information about how Amina's doing in school. I don't remember getting that. So, I mean, if she's proving herself, if she's a straight A student, if she's not getting into trouble at school, she's making it to class on time, she's behaving herself, she is proving that she can meet curfew and she can take responsibility for herself. I don't think Preach would have had a problem with leaving her home alone. But then again, Preach is obviously trying to overcompensate for her only having one parent, you know. He is going to be overprotective of her. He is going to try to box her in a small little corner, and she's going to fight back with everything in her. Yeah. It's like in 611 where keeps telling her how she can't be with Bryce, and Amina is fighting that, you know. She's Bryce this, Bryce that, Bryce this, Bryce that. So as long as Preach keeps pushing her, she is going to keep pushing back as hard, which is why I feel she is so interested in Khalil. It's the bad boy image she is trying to follow. She is trying to get into, you know. She's trying to prove a point that she can handle it. She can be grown. And oh, baby girl, when you go looking, you find things. So that's that. And from what I've noticed in her interactions with Khalil is they're trying to give her a savior complex. I don't like that. Uh, mm, 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 mm. I mean, saving Khalil from himself isn't something you have to make your job, you know. Both of you are still minors. You both have adults that are responsible for you. This is where Jordan comes in. This is where Preach comes in. This is where the authority in the school comes in. Even if he doesn't have structure at home, you are not the one who's supposed to give him that structure. You are not the one who's supposed to go out of your way trying to put him back on the right path. You know, why are you fighting him over decisions he's making? You know, you can give advice, you can tell him it's like, okay, Khalil, what you're doing isn't cool. And stop at that. Trying to pull him away from what he's, really no. Absolutely not. You don't like it when other people are doing it to you. You don't like it when the adults are trying to control what you do. So why do you think it's okay to do it to somebody else? You know? So yeah, this savior complex, I'm never up for it. I hate it when they do that. Let these kids be kids. Like, yeah. I'm going on a tangent here. So back to Amina thinking she's grown. Amina's definition of being grown is doing what she wants when she wants, which includes the clothes, especially the clothing. Miss Ma'am, you see grown people walking around half naked, but you don't have to do it. You know? I think we've all been there, where you move from your parents buying you clothes to exploring your personal style and where you want to wear, what you choose, what you buy, and whatever. So I see where she is, okay? But Misty knows what she's doing, especially when she saw Coop's reaction to her outfit going to the beach and her little smirk, her little question is, are you going to say anything else about my outfit? She was ready to fight. That's what she wants. Like, that's the dynamic I'm getting from her and Preach, even if we didn't see Preach on screen. But she's so used to pushing boundaries now that she wants to do it with every single adult she encounters. You know? So when Coop asks her, who are you trying to prove that you're grown to? Me or yourself? And like, she's taken aback because this is the first time she's ever been questioned about it. You know, with Preach, I'm sure it's always just go change, go change, go change, go change. But with Coop, it's like, okay, do whatever you want. But it's also because Coop has always been a friend to Amina and not a parental figure. Okay. In season 3, when Amina is getting ready for her sleepover and Patience was getting ready for prom night and whatever, Amina tells Patience that Coop is her best friend. Okay, so Coop isn't one to sorry. Coop isn't going to want to overstep that boundary of, you know, betraying her friend. That's also going to be something they have to establish. This is also what Jordan is facing with the team, you know, where you have to find the line between being their friend and being the adult between the both of you. Okay, so that's something we're going to see grow, and yeah, it's really exciting. Um, which brings me back to my theory from the last episode we did, about Amina finding out the truth about her mom. So now, because Coop wants to be her friend and not this adult, is she going to carry that on with the truth? Because again, only Laura, well, people that are alive now, only Laura, Coop, Preach know exactly what happened that night. Laura isn't a regular anymore, and client attorney privileges won't allow her to expose the truth to Amina without Preach's consent or Coop's consent. So now it's up to Coop and Preach to tell Amina the truth. Because if she finds out from somebody else, whoever that somebody else is, it's going to be trouble. It is going to be trouble. So, ooh, betrayal. Yeah. So, like I said, Coop has made it a point to be Amina's friend and not a parental figure. So now, when you have a friend and a friend's keeping secrets from you, secrets that you should know, that loyalty, betrayal, or whatever, it's hard to deal with. So facing that with Coop is also going to be hard. I can get why Preach is keeping it from her because I mean he's her only surviving parent. Okay. It's more so for her protection because she was young. She was 10 when Mo died. So breaking the news to her about how Coop is the one that uh no, Preach is the one that shot Mo, sorry. So breaking the news to her that Preach is the one that shot her mother, killed her mother in fact, was going to be hard. They were just building this relationship. They just met, and obviously he's trying to preserve that. But how much danger does that cause in the long run? This is the aftermath that we're going to be dealing with this season. Also, another reason both Coop and Preach would not have told Amina about the night that Mo died is that Mo is Amina's mom. Like, there's no changing that. No matter how bad she was to people in the community, no matter how much of a terror Tyrone was, these were Amina's family. Okay? Amina knew that Mo was her mom, Tyrone was her uncle. Okay? Um, like I said about Khalil's dad, everyone loves their kids to some extent. So let's just put it out there. Some parents are horrible, but in this case, everyone loves their kids. Okay? Amina knew Mo and Tyrone as her family and not two individuals that were horrible to people in the community. I don't think she knows that Tyrone was a drug dealer. I don't think she knows that Tyrone was out there killing people. Remember, Tyrone's the one that killed Sean. So it's more so protecting the memory she has of these people. But now she's grieved. I don't think she got to grieve, did she? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Amina just says she was okay. Like, she didn't really cry. She didn't really act out at the time of Mo's death. And yeah, she's going to have to start dealing with those emotions now. And in dealing with those emotions, she is going to go down the road Layla went. Okay? If we remember Monica's death, Monica died when Layla was 6. In season 1, they were juniors in high school. Okay? And yeah, while they were juniors, it was the 1 year anniversary of her. Juniors are 17, a year before they were 16. So it took Layla a whole year to start digging and investigating what really happened with her mom and facing her grief and the depression resurfacing. I don't think they'll go down that route with Amina because it's already being covered with Layla, but she's most definitely going to start grieving and investigating what really happened with her mom and looking for closure. And in this process, she's going to find out who her family really is. She's going to find out the truth about what Preach was doing before he got her. That Preach, literally everyone, she's surrounded by murderers, basically. So that would be interesting. I see Layla being a guide for her in trying to, handle experiencing the truth about people you loved and revising the memory you have of her. Whew. Sorry, while we are here on revising the memory you have of these people, it's like Layla and her parents' marriage, She was convinced that her parents had this beautiful marriage where they loved each other and whatever. And then when the engagement happened and she started spiraling and had to, you know, heal and close the door on her mom's death, she had to revisit that image she built for herself about her parents and, establish that, okay, these people might have loved each other at some point, but yeah, this fantasy I've been forcing myself to believe in isn't true. Like, we're rough. She also had the same talk with Liv, and when Liv was writing her book about how when we choose to dig into our parents' past after they've died or whatever, and they're not here to justify themselves, you have to accept that these things you're going to find out are a part of them, okay, however rough. So that will be interesting to look into. Then we have Ava and Cassius. I hope I'm saying their names right. Okay. So, like I said before, these two are very, very present parents. I feel like every parent on the show has been a working parent. That's been pretty much established. So Ava's a working mom, and um, Coach Jeremy is a working dad, obviously, because he is an NFL coach. Not really an NFL coach, sorry. He's a football coach. Now, when he's talking about how, just hold off on that a bit. So in the decision to separate, where Ava tells Katie that he's going with his dad, it's obvious that okay, here, Coach Jeremy has had to take a step back and allow his wife to build her career. Okay, still a hopeful dreamer. Okay, she's out there conquering the world. I don't think we were told what she does yet. Um, but she is willingly leaving her son with his dad because she knows that he will be better taken care of them. So this brings us back to the conversation he's having in the lounge with Layla and Coop, where he's talking about how he's not a hopeful dreamer anymore because of duty. And I think the duty was being a parent and having to step back from his own dreams to be present in the home while Ava was out there conquering the world. And, you know, being a steady presence for their son. And this might be what built resentment towards his wife because, why am I the only one sacrificing here? This is both our child. We should both be active and present in our baby's life. But while you're out there conquering the world, I have to settle, you know, with a job that allows me to have enough time to be there with our son. I have to be there with him at school and at home to make sure he's perfectly fine. And yeah, I feel like this is where the um, struggle in their marriage started, and he is blaming everything on her. You can see her reaction when he is talking to her about how it's her fault that all this is happening. She's not shocked, she's more so in disbelief that he's saying it. So it's, in my head, it's a regular occurrence. This is a regular argument they have, where when something happens in the relationship, when something goes wrong, he's quick to blame her. Like, responsibility, that's not his vibe. That's not the vibe he's on. And yeah, after she refuses to stick with him, like to try and work their marriage out, to not get separated, and he finally steps up when explaining what happened to KJ. is when she's shocked. She's like, oh, okay, this is new. Like, where has this been this whole time? Why are you jumping at my defense? Why are you claiming all this is on you when this whole time you've been blaming me? You've been putting it on me to tell our son what's happening. So yeah, I hope they work it out. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So that's that. And before we move from this, we see Ava. She's a good mom. As much as I think she's absent, she's a good mom. Okay, she's trying. I think they've established their roles really, really well in the home. While she's a working parent and he's the more hands-on parent with KJ, they've they've built a healthy household. Like, it's functional. It's a very structured household. She's very, very in touch with what's going on in the home. I loved how this decision, KJ's decision to play football, and he's really, really good. Like, his top 20 QBs in California, is it? Yeah, so he's really, really good, and he has really, really supportive parents. You have his dad, who is an active figure in his football journey, because he's his coach. Like, he's there. This isn't like Billy and Jordan, where Billy was coaching the team and he didn't even care that Jordan was on the team. Coach Jeremy actually likes his son. Like, he loves him and he likes the person he is, the player he is, and he wants to be a big part of making his dream to get into the NFL come true, which I really, really love. And yeah, Ava checking in with him, like, they're setting it up that it's KJ's choice to play football. Like, whatever he wants, whatever he feels he needs to advance his dream to get him closer to the NFL, they're supporting it. They're feeding this. They're putting him on the track. If he wants to go to football camps, they're paying for it. Go. We'll come to LA with you and we'll be close by. Again, this is the thing. I hope Coach Jeremy isn't a helicopter parent. Like, let him breathe. Let him make his mistakes. I feel like his KJ's dad is always there. Like, he's the parent at home, he's a parent at school as well. So KJ is forced to behave. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. But like, did you see the video where this mom was called to the school twice in the same week? So she goes to the school and like sits in her child's class, and the child is she's behaving like nothing she's doing in the classroom would warrant the teacher calling her mom. That's because the mom is there. So I feel like this is what's going on with KJ. As long as his dad is present, will be in line. This is where the naivety always been watched. So I really, really hope Coach Jeremy is not a helicopter parent and lets KJ make his choices, make his mistakes. But I also see where the rivalry with Jordan would come in. Like, Coach is the extended synopsis where it says Coach Jeremy has beef with the whole Baker family. Like, it's beyond the field. So I feel like it's more so Jordan's bond with KJ that's causing a bit of drama between them. Again, we love drama over here, so bring it on. And yeah, that's that. So again, I love how Ava checked in with KJ, making sure this is still what he wants, because they are incredible parents. I really, really commend them for that. They're in touch with their child. They're really, really active in his life, and kudos to them. I really, really love that. But the downside of this is them over sheltering him. Again, life hasn't happened to KJ. So KJ was under the belief that their parents are still, not their parents, sorry, his parents are still happily in love, calling them lovebirds and everything, because they're pretending, to save face, to maintain that happy home. Uh, when it often does more harm than good, which is what we're going to be dealing with Amina, you know. Coop and Preach sheltering her so much from what her family actually is. So it's basically like she's been living a lie this whole time. So I hope these two, the Jeremy family, works that out and doesn't let it get as bad as what Amina is going to face. And while we're at it, I honestly see Amina and KJ being really, really good friends, leaning on each other and being present for each other. So I really, really love to see that. Next, let's go to Yasi. I'll put it out there. See, I love everyone. Okay, I don't like Yasi at the moment. I don't like him. They didn't do anything to his character this episode. We don't know who he is. We don't know where he's from. We don't know why he behaves the way he does. He is very quirky. Like, I need somebody to knock him down a peg. Yeah. Now, Yasi, I'll use the word disrespectful. Like, there's a lack of respect. Now, I say respect is earned, it's not given, right? Yasi hasn't earned anyone's respect. Okay. I mentioned how I didn't like the way he interacts with KJ. Like, he's passive aggressive for no reason. KJ is trying to explain to you that something's wrong at home. Like, I'm trying to navigate this whole new world without my dad, and your response is, well, why is he leaving? You're the reigning regional champions. Like, okay, what does that have to do with how I'm going to go on from here? Like, as a friend, you should be at least sympathetic to what your friend is going through. Just as a listening ear, there's a reason he is opening up to you. There's a reason he is bringing it up. He felt comfortable enough to bring it up to you, and you can't offer the same courtesy to him to listen. Yeah, no. Also, the way he talks to Khalil, like, okay, Khalil is troubled. He's a problem child, but I don't think Khalil would go out of his way to, you know, um, okay, no, I can't say he does things unprovoked because he does. But I feel like Khalil, he's not as bad as they're making it out to be. Usually there's a reason behind his thing. What he did to KJ wasn't cool, but it's because of something Amina did. Now, okay, again, how he went around it wasn't cool. I don't like how Khalil was being with KJ, but that's neither here or there. But Yasi is very mean to Khalil. Okay. His We see more of it in the trailer because it continues. Like, he's antagonizing Khalil. Now, with Yazi and Khalil, I see a fight happening, especially since we know that Jordan is going to ask Khalil to play for him. So Khalil and Yazi on the same team. That's, sir, I hope you're ready for that. But yeah, the way he was talking to KJ wasn't cool. Like, there's some arrogance to his tone, because in the conversation where KJ is talking about his dad leaving and having to navigate life without his dad, Yasi brings up how, come see our gym. This whole time you've been saying how good yours, look at ours on the beach when they're playing. It's like, no, does that need to be better than than KJ? And I don't see their friendship lasting really, really long. Because if you have a friend like that that just always wants to have one up on you, mm-mm, mm-mm. This is the ASAP Rocky trial going on this side, okay? Where you have a friend that you left behind and they're envious of your success and they're trying everything in their power to, you know, try to take that away from you. This is what I see going on here. Um, Also, Yasi is a problem child. He is going to cause a lot of trouble for Jordan, especially since Jordan is a QB coach and Yasi is a QB. Um, Yasi he's a kid, okay? He is going to want to question authority, which is what we're dealing with Amina as well. He's going to want to test the boundaries. Yeah, yeah. Again, someone needs to knock him down a peg. This one, he's pushed Jordan a bit over the edge. I hope to see Jordan being continuously hard on him. If he goes back to being a friend, this is going to be an ongoing cycle of when I say something and you're pushing back. Yeah. Also, Yazi's argument with Jordan on the beach. Again, Yazi is a child. You know how children like to show off when they're in public, when they are in front of their friends, and they're getting in trouble and they're being all mouthy? This is what's going on here. Okay? I completely think this would have been a whole different scenario if Jordan came in and said, "Hey, Yazi, let's go this practice," and he scolds him in private. Now, getting scolded in front of everyone makes him all big and bad, and he's ruining what could be a cordial relationship, a friendly relationship with his coach. And yeah, that's not cute. I know we'll be seeing a lot of him because it's football season, unless Jordan decides to get a new QB. That's, yeah. What's that? So, yeah. Also, why I think Yasi and KJ won't work out as friends is because they don't have any loyalties to each other. You know, Spencer and Jordan's rivalry was prolonged because of Billy's presence. Billy became a father figure to Spencer. Spencer was dating Jordan's sister, so like their lives were too intertwined. So if you have to interact with this person as frequently as you should, um, it's easier to be cordial. It's easier to be on good terms than to be rivals. But KJ and Yazi don't have that. They don't have this forced sense of loyalty to each other. So yeah, I don't see them lasting, honestly. Um, yeah. So that's that. Now let's move to Coach Bobby. We don't have much on him. He's very mysterious. Again, I still don't think Coach Bobby is the uncle because I mean, I don't think it's going to be that easy. Like, maybe the hustle will be on Jordan figuring it out, but I don't think they would make it that obvious that Coach Bobby is their uncle. So yeah, Coach Bobby, he's really, really hard on Jordan. Now, it's only been a month since he offered Jordan the job and Jordan taking it. Jordan's still very, very young. He's 24. He's not going to want to be an authority figure. Okay. I think I mentioned before at the start of the video, I'm 21 and I'm a tutor. I refuse to work with uni students, honest to God. But I work with high school students and primary students, and I've been very, very lucky that every child I've gotten is very respectful. But, kids will always be kids. As respectful as they're going to go on a tangent. I can't even count on one hand how many lessons I've had where these kids go off into their high school drama. And obviously, I'm closer to their age than to their parents' ages. Okay, so I struggle with that sense of authority as well, because I want to be a friend. I want you to be open and comfortable and tell me if you don't understand anything. You get. So that's the same thing Jordan is on. And Coach Bobby needs to understand that he's fresh out of high school. He was just on a team, he was just team captain. We all saw how Jordan interacted with his teammates and how he conducted the team as team captain. So, yeah, it's going to be really, really hard for him to wake up and realize that, okay, I'm the coach now, not the team captain. These are not my teammates, but my subordinates. Child, I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah, so Coach Bobby needs to understand and he needs to give Jordan grace. Now, I hope Coach Bobby doesn't have an ulterior motive. I hope it's one of those tough love situations where you see the potential in someone and how great they can be, and you are being hard on them to help them get to that point. But if it's just because he had beef with Billy or Grandma Mary, I'm not here for it. They're getting whacked. Okay, so let's move to Coop before we move to Jordana. This episode is going to be very, very long. But yeah, we move. So Coop, I really, really loved their relationship. Coop and Layla in season 3. I hated that Coop's career ending also meant Layla and Coop's friendship ended abruptly as well. Yeah, they were the dynamic duo, if I do say so myself. They were one of the best friendships on the show. Coop was replaced by Patience in Layla's life, but with Patience gone, with Spencer gone, they have each other and they're rebuilding that. So I really, really love that. Now, again, I mentioned this before. Coop spent a large part of her childhood trying to be grown. Not really her childhood, but her teenage years trying to be grown, joining gangs, leaving her parents' house because they didn't approve of Coop and Patience's relationship. Yeah. So now she's settling into being young again, being a college student, just living, day drinking and just having fun. So Coop and Layla are kind of on the same path because both of them forced themselves to grow up too fast, and now they realize that, okay, I was rushing to be an adult. Now that I'm an adult, it's not as fun. So I need to slow down. I just need to bask in the moment and be a young adult, which is really, really cute. Yeah. So this whole episode was her dealing with the differences between being grown and being an adult. Being grown is not having to get permission, basically. Being an adult is dealing with responsibility of you being grown. So she wants the freedoms of being an adult but not the responsibility, which is really, really funny. Because like I said, I'm 21 and I still think I'm a child, so I'm on board with that. I love, love, love. Yeah. Oh, Coop didn't really, really have that big of a storyline this episode, but I wonder where she's living. Like, is she on campus? Is she renting an apartment or anything? Because we know Preach and Amina are in Grace's house. So is Coop living with her? No, she can't be. Because Amina says Coop just wanted to come and sit on her couch and watch TV or whatever. So Grace's house is Preach and Amina's. Is Coop still living with the Bakers? Ooh, question mark, question mark. So I hope they address that. And now let's move to Jordan and Layla. Yay, our married couple. So we will be seeing a lot of Jordan and Layla. I did catch a bit of the Q&A. I saw a clip about Layla talking about how her and Jordan, not Layla, Greta, talking about how Jordan and Layla are married and they're just happy and still honeymooning. So, I mean, 1 year into their marriage, I don't think they're going to have much drama. I do think a point of contention for them would be Jordan making time for Layla. Now, hear me out. Um, these two had quite the day in 701. It's hard to believe that the whole episode was just 1 day. Like it was literally 1 day. So now Jordan was out early, okay, and he comes back late in the night. He's out all kind of hours, um, because he keeps finding something to do. This episode was going out with the team, being on the field with KJ, and he comes home and Layla's asleep on the couch. Now, I hope this won't be a regular occurrence between these two because I don't like that the writers backtrack quite often with their relationship, especially communication wise, because these two were amazing with communicating in their best friends era, which was whole of season 4, and in their secret dating era. Okay, they fought quite a bit when they were secret dating, including that big fight about Layla going to Brixton and telling the truth and whatever. And they've always been able to figure it out on their own. Then all of a sudden, when the whole world knows they're together, they need outside influence to get them into reconciling. They need to stop that. It's okay to get outside feedback, like KJ did with Jordan, and understanding how moving couldn't be such a bad thing. But if Jordan was like, no, you need to go back to your parents and talk to them, and yeah, no. That's what they've been doing with Jordan and Layla. Like they've been having other people tell them, no, you two need to make up. Like you need to talk to Jordan. Obviously, they're going to make up. Come on, they were dating, they were engaged. Now they're married. They're not going to go to sleep without sorting their issues. I don't think they've ever gone a week without sorting whatever's going on between them. So I need them not to rewrite them being able to communicate with each other. Miss Layla, you need to speak up and tell Jordan how you're feeling about him being out all kind of hours. Yes. So again, I feel like this attention situation is what's going to be hard for them too. Layla's never had to deal with Jordan being busy. Okay. The whole time they've been together, Jordan's been a student. Okay. He's been flexible with her. Okay. He was using his snack breaks to take her lunch to make her dinner in the studio. So even in the whole lot of season 5, Jordan had his breaks, his summer breaks, his winter breaks, and whatever. And Jordan just wanted to spend time with her. It's her that's always been the busy one. Okay, so now that she's achieved so much, she's slowing down now. She's the one that's at home more than he is. She is going to feel his absence, you know? And yeah, that's something she's going to struggle with because she's never had to do that with Jordan. Yeah, season 4 was what? How long were they in uni? 4 years, yeah? So in the last 5 years or so, give or take. Layla has had Jordan at her beck and call. Like, he's always tried to have her make time for them. So yeah. Now, while we are talking about Layla, again, Layla's mom passed when she was 16, and what did JP do? JP took off. So Layla was forced to grow. She's been a parent since she was 16 years old, her own parent. She made sure she had her grades up. She was valedictorian of her class. She's very ambitious as well, She's always had to make sure her dream is alive. She's in charge of that. So yeah. Yeah. She's had to be an adult. So again, like Coop, she's realizing that she's spent so much time being an adult. Now she just wants to be grown. She wants the freedoms of being an adult, but she doesn't want the responsibility that comes with being an adult. And we've seen these nuances of her being carefree, her being grown but not an adult. There's a difference, like Coop said. So we saw her partying quite a bit, but then that was her lashing out in a way. This season we've heard about it, her and Jordan just being everywhere, christening the house. Child, Layla, Layla, wake up. So there is little instances we've seen where she just wants to be young, but she's forced herself to grow into this adult role. And the most prominent one would be her and Jordan's dating era. Now, Jordan is literally the most unserious person on the show. Like, Jordan is never serious. He's the one that didn't have the savior complex. He's the one that just wanted to be the child. He's the one that wanted to make stupid teenage decisions. He's the one that wanted to leave the house when he was grounded. He is the not Khalil, not KJ. Is KJ? No. Jordan was the Macy of the old generation, alongside JJ. These two just wanted to live life in the moment, So now, if you have somebody that's rushing to be an adult and you have somebody that's trying to stay young in a relationship, they pick up on each other's habits. Okay, so Jordan has had to straighten up a bit. He's had to, grow up quite a bit. We've seen some serious moments with Jordan, and with Layla, we've seen her relax quite a bit. When have you ever seen Layla willingly leave her job to go and have relations with her man, So we saw quite a bit of that in season 5, and I'm hoping it is fully fleshed out this season. Like, we need to see Layla be young, which is where I stand with her getting pregnant. If you noticed her facial expressions during the Hopeful Dreamers speech. So if you noticed her facial expressions while Coach Jeremy was talking about how duty happened and how he is not a hopeful dreamer anymore, she's, she's kind of not feeling it, which is why I don't think she's ready to be a parent. Now, Layla is ambitious. She's been at it. She's been going since she was 60. She's had to be grown up. She's had to parent herself. She hasn't had the time to just chill and be a teenager. Like, she skipped over that. So she needs to make up for that in a way. She needs to be in the club. I can't remember who I saw say that. But yeah, she needs to be partying. She needs to be out there making friends, you know. She needs to find an outlet. Okay. Um with somebody like Layla, okay, somebody that ambitious, you can't take her at home with a baby without some other thing going for her as a release for that stress, you know. She is we don't need that for her. So I will need her to figure out what she wants to do next career wise, then have the baby so that she can have something to look forward to if she needs space from the baby, from the house, just to get out and clear her head. She should go somewhere. Producing is there, yes. The lounge is there, yes. But these aren't her passions at the moment. Like I said in the preseason podcast episode, Layla only got into it as part of her healing journey. She's overcome so much. She's gotten past that. So now, what does Layla Baker do? You know, that was all Layla Keating. She closed all those little doors before she got married. That was her goal. Remember, in season 6, she says she doesn't want to get married until all this baggage is released. Like, she doesn't want to bring it into her marriage. So that includes everything she achieved before as part of trying to release that baggage, okay? All of that is gone. Now she's Layla Baker. She has to start from scratch. She has to find what she actually wants to do, what her passion is. If it's still music, she can always pick that back up, but she needs a release before she settles into being a mom full time. Okay. Um Also, if Jordan had to be parent now, okay, um he's out all kind of hours. His job hasn't even started. So she's going to be alone for the most part. And yeah, that's not something I would want for Layla. I need him to be settled in his job, to be able to understand how to budget his time, how to be present at home as well. We can't have Jordan being an absent father because their whole theme in season 6 was to be better than their parents. So, what good will Jordan be if he's always busy, always away, while Layla is the aunt? That's sticking them back into Billy and Laura, and also JP and Scott. Because, again, remember, JP is a producer. He was probably always on the road, always traveling. You know how the music industry is. So, yeah, I feel like Monica was more the hands on parent with Layla. And also, I feel like that's why Layla was always at the Baker house. Because remember, in the rose, she was like, no, when I was younger, I spent so much time at the Baker house. Everyone thought I was their third child. So it looks like Monica and JP left her with Laura a lot while they were on tour and everything. So we don't need that for the new baby Baker. We are striving to be better than the parents. Um, so yeah. Now, while we're still on Layla, right? Layla, she struggles with big changes, especially when they are abrupt. Okay, her mom's death, which is what triggered her depression, Carrie trying to kill her, triggered that season 4 spiral, and also the engagement, which caused her to relapse into her depression. So with Layla, having a baby, she needs to be ready for that. She needs to decide. Okay, it needs to be her free will. She needs to actually have the conversation with Jordan, with her therapist, and say, look, okay, I feel like I am stable enough to have this baby now. A sudden pregnancy will throw her all the way off, and we are not having that. She's worked too hard to go back to where she started, which is also why I think they haven't redecorated the house. He again struggles with big changes. I feel like changing the house would be one step closer to, domesticated Layla. And yeah, there's some fear there. So yeah, like I said, I need her to establish an outlet because an ambitious person like Layla, you don't trap in the house with a baby without something to, you know, release her stress. That's not what we should want for her. So, yeah. Now, Jordan. Okay. um, Jordan, I love how the first time we see him, he makes sure to mention his beautiful wife at home. Jordan loves Layla. Like, it's never been a question. But then, these people are action people, okay? It's a lot, yes, to say you love someone, but for your actions to show, to scream that you love this person is everything. Jordan and Layla are more action than vocal people. They're more silent promise makers, you know? Yeah. So these little nuances, coming home, seeing her on the couch and like checking on her. When he took that little piece of hair out of her face, it was just like, let me see you. Like, she's okay. She's on the couch. She's not going to fall or anything. But then him wanting to have a clear vision of her face was everything. Like, I want to see you. Oh, so stinking cute. Okay. So again, Jordan had no savior complex. This is going to be everywhere, but yeah. Um so I feel like it's why a lot of people failed to connect with Jordan because you have this person, Jordan and JJ, who are very unserious, okay, while everyone is running around in circles trying to save the world. Okay. So it was like Jordan was out of place. He was literally the only person there alongside JJ who were acting their age, if we're being honest. You're a teenage boy, your hormones are raging, you want to sleep with every girl with a pulse, you know. You're lashing out, you are underage drinking, stealing cars, going out when you're grounded. Like these little things that teenagers will usually do. He made sure he did. He allowed himself to be young. He was the show's tie. Like he was the constant reminder that these people are teenagers and not adults yet. So I really, really loved that. But it made him really hard to relate to by a lot of people because they're so used to these people trying to brave the world. Okay, you have Olivia and Spencer brushing the Black Lives Matter movement. You have Layla starting her business. You have Spencer trying to save Crenshaw. You have Coop trying to save Sean, trying to help preach with Amina, all of that. So, yeah, Jordan was just there. It was the little reminder that they are 17, 18. They don't have anything to rush for, And most people blamed it on his privilege or whatever, but it's just the reality of it. He had no reason to rush to be an adult, which is why he's still yeah, like he's still struggling to make that transition into actually being the adults now, because he's never had a reason to rush into that role. But we've seen a bit of that, like the little glimpse of that after that argument with Yasi and him working late, needing to be on the field to um clear his mind, him making his Instagram account private. Now, I loved that he still relies on Layla a lot, especially on her opinion. He had quite the morning at work, and what does this guy do? He leaves his job to go vent to Layla. Like, sir, yes, you're on the clock. But yeah, I really, really still love that Layla is his person. Whenever something big or small happens, she's the first person he wants to call. He wants to tell her everything. What I don't like is that's the only time they're seeing each other during the day. You know, you come home, yes, but so you need to be home before dinner. You need to spend time with your wife while she's awake. Okay. I hope this isn't a regular occurrence. He needs to actually figure out how to balance his work life and his home life. Again, Jordan's whole life was school and football and dating. Okay, but then it wasn't that serious, you know. He's never had to go into a job outside football, you know. We had people like Layla, who was working on her label. We had Liv, who had her internship. But then this was the internship Liv had was for her career, you know, skills building for her career, which is exactly what Jordan was doing with his football and football practices and all of that. So he's never had to be on a proper job with a boss that has expectations. Yes, you have coaches, but you also want to win because it's your team. Now you are responsible for the wins you get. So he has to find that balance, but yeah, I'm glad the snack breaks are back. Yeah, so let's start with Jordan. Like I said, he's young. He is struggling with being an authority figure with the kids. He wants to be their friend, not their coach, but he has to, you know, find that balance. Yeah, so that's that on Jordan and Layla. But, while we are talking about him making time for Layla, um, it's good that in all of this, he's never not made her feel loved. He still lets her understand that she is a priority to him, that she is important, that she is still his voice of reason. Okay. In this episode, while he's venting to her and she is kind of scolding him about why his Instagram account is public, and he's like, no, everyone has access to it. So there's a difference between people seeing your page and you interacting with your players on your private page. You get. So Layla is not overbearing. Let's just put that out there. She won't tell him what to do or how he should do his job. It's his job to figure that out on his own. But that silence, that little sigh of frustration says so much, and I'm glad he figured it out. And in all of this, when he came home after work, how he kept looking at her every time he, you know, was making the decision to make his account private, or listening to the voicemail about how now he's the adult and helping people achieve their dreams, and like let them how he's the believer now. He was looking at Layla because that's everything she is to him as well. She is his voice of reason. She is the person that he holds in the highest regard in terms of opinions. Okay, if there's one person in this world that Jordan needs an opinion from, it's Layla. Like, that's just a fact. So I'm glad that they're still emphasizing that. I'm still glad that even while Spencer's voicemail was playing, how Spencer was talking about having somebody to believe in you, how you have somebody to help you through the ups and downs of your life and whatever. All these things were of Jordan and Layla, okay? So it's just the writer's way of telling us that this is the season where we see these two actually work together. Because season 6 was all of Jordan emphasizing to Layla that they're a team. Okay, we had so much of we're a team, we're a team, we're a team, we're a team, we're a team. And yeah. So it's finally clicked to Layla that they're a team, they're together, they have to support each other, which is really, really fun. And we are going to see how they settle in this. Again, Layla's always been super, super independent. She was forced to grow up really, really fast. So she's never had somebody she can rely on like that. Okay, so yeah, I really, really want to see how they execute that. Again, I don't see them having too much angst per se, apart from the time management or whatever. And obviously, oh, we spoke about it, about how Jordan will be fixated on finding out who the uncle is. So that, on top of having his own, Miss Layla will be at a deficit attention wise, and so you need to step up. Oh, um, so that's that. Um, I'm excited to see how they incorporate Khalil into their home because, like we know from the extended synopsis, Khalil is moving in, and oh my gosh, I'm, I'm I'm losing my train of thought. Um, now back to these hopeful dreams. Okay. Um, my interpretation of my interpretation, sorry, of what Coach Jeremy meant about duty happening and not being a hopeful dreamer anymore is him giving up on life, like when life doesn't go your way. Um, so I don't know. Usually, when you're a coach, you have some experience being in the sport you're coaching. Okay, so I, for some reason, think Coach Jeremy wanted to go to the NFL as well, but then he had a baby and had to step back to be an active presence because he mentions how before he met Ava in uni, he didn't have that. You know, he didn't have somebody who breathed life into his dreams. He didn't have somebody believing in him that much. So I don't know what his family life was. I mean, I can't guess because we don't know anything about it. But he wanted to be what Ava was to him for his son. Okay, and that obviously caused problems in their marriage, and he stopped being a hopeful dreamer. Okay, he just his life basically revolved around being a parent, and at some point he stopped wanting more for himself. Now, with Jordan and Layla, Jordan and Layla have always breathed life into each other's dreams. Okay, they've always emphasized how important it was to be the best at what they do. Okay, we have in season 3 where Jordan tells Layla she's the strongest person he knows. where he's been emphasizing how important she is to Carrie's recovery, how good she is at her job as a producer, and how proud of her he is of opening the lounge and all of that. So he has been consistent at helping her see where she is with her accomplishments, even when she doesn't see it. So he's kept her accountable for her dream, helped her keep going. Same as for Layla. Okay. Jordan initially was playing football for Billy's sake to get closer to him and all of that. But she reminded him, look, you've worked so hard. You need to start doing it for you. Put yourself first. Okay? And then after his injury, we didn't see Jordan spiral too bad. Why? Because you have Jordan with Layla breathing life into his dreams. Okay, that football doesn't have to be everything. You're losing football just doesn't mean you have to stop there. You have so much more that you can do, and I honestly think he wouldn't have been fulfilled as much as he will be in the coaching role if he went to the NFL, because he was in it for all the wrong reasons, which was to get closer to his father. Now he actually gets to be a change maker. He gets to have hands-on influence on his players that he can physically see. Like, it's not enough sometimes to believe that you are making a change through what you're doing. But now, when working with the kids, with the younger generation, he will actually physically see the results. And it started in episode 1 with his advice to KJ, where KJ was like, no, you don't understand. You don't know how much what you just said to me means, So that's going to be a continuous pattern, which is why he moves Khalil into his home. And yeah, I honestly want to see. So when Layla asks Jordan, like, when he carries her to bed and all that, if they'll always be each other's hopeful dreamers, like, it's a whole full circle moment. Like, even if life goes all the way wrong, please promise me that we'll never give up. Like, we'll always be each other support system. We'll always be there to encourage. Oh my gosh, full circle moment. Layla is struggling. She's feeling lost. Let's promise each other that we'll always be each other's hopeful dreamers and keep breathing life into each other's dreams. Like, keep pushing each other to be better. And I love this for. So now that that's done. This is almost 2 hours long. I'm so sorry. But let's briefly talk about the trailer. So we have Jordan and Coach Jeremy's rivalry already starting. Like, it's not even on the field yet. So this is still going to be emphasizing on the grown versus adult, because Jordan wants to be grown and Coach Jeremy is the adult here. So Jordan wants to be adult, like have the freedoms, but doesn't want the responsibility. But there's an adult there, like he's taking this seriously. Um. So yeah, I still think when schools arrivals, like, keep that on the field, not between each other. Like, you can be cordial in public spaces, but whatever. But I feel like Jordan and Coach Jeremy's rivalry has more to do with KJ than it has to do with football. So we'll get to see more of that. We have Tori coming in, which will be fun. We don't see much of her. We don't get any more information. But we know that she's the first person KJ meets at Beverly. I stand corrected. I'm happy to be wrong. But again, we have Yasi antagonizing Khalil. I don't expect to see Khalil standing there and taking it. So do what you must with. Yeah. So in episode 702, the school year is officially beginning. So football season is starting for real, for real. Um, yeah. Jordan, he's already making strides to putting those boundaries in place with his team, but now we actually get to start the journey with him of him being serious Jordan. No, I find serious Jordan very hot, so I don't know how the students are going to go about that if they're actually going to take him, because I don't. I find man standing in front of me, so that would be nice. Um, yeah, so we have Liv coming back for Billy's memorial. Again, please, Billy is dead. I hope this is the last thing, honestly. Um, like, let that man rest. I don't like how they're making Liv's life revolve around Billy. But that's whatever. We have a pregnancy test on the table. Obviously, okay, personally, I know Layla isn't pregnant because why would they include in the extended synopsis that Jordan isn't ready to take the fatherly role if Layla's already pregnant? You get what I mean? Like, they're obviously not moving Khalil in next episode. Otherwise we would have known. So yeah, obviously I think that pregnancy test is going to live, and I'm not mad at it. Again, Liv and Spencer are more established in their careers, they're more settled, so obviously I think they will have more room to have a baby. Liv is a writer, she has so much going on for her. Spencer is in the NFL. He's going to be gone most of the time, so I probably think she's going to be alone for most of the pregnancy and the birth, and okay, you won't miss the birth, come on. But like child raising, early years, all of that. But I feel like she's more flexible and she has her outlet. You know, she won't be limited to being the baby's mom. Okay, she'll be the writer with the TV show and have the baby. Um, Layla's not there yet. I need her to figure her career before she even starts thinking about a baby so that she can have her career and the baby's mom. A career she loves, not that she feels trapped in. Which is why it's probably been easy for her to walk in and out of producing because it's not something she's in love with, you know? She likes it, yes, but she's not in love with it. So there is. And also, we have a little glimpse of KJ saying he's offended someone already in the trailer at Beverly. It's obviously not Tori because like that line is over. No, you know how trailers we're not taking that word for word. So let's say who he offends. Probably somebody on the team. And yeah, so this episode I went on a tangent. I talk way too much. But I mean, these are my thoughts. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.